Really looking forward to our co-main event this weekend. We have Gregor the Gift Gillespie. Listen, is he the greatest fisher in the UFC? Well, probably. And Matt, listen, I gotta say something here. If you're fishing for deals right now this spring,
I got one.
Matt got a deal. Fishing for deals. Use the promo code FNP25 at FightNatePicks.com. You're gonna get 25% off your order now until Saturday over on the store. But we have Gregor Gillespie. The guy loves fishing. Well, he hasn't been loving fighting lately because we haven't seen him in the longest time. His last time out, he took on, well, probably his toughest test. And I don't say probably, really his toughest test. Since he made his UFC debut back in 2016, he had the decision win over Gleico Franca. Since then, finished Andrew Holbrook, finished Jason Gonzalez, finished Jordan Rinaldi, finished Vince Pichel. That was a surprise to me. And he finished Yancy Medeiros en route to his fight with Kevin Lee, where he got knocked out in the first round. And it just sent him into oblivion. That was back in November of 2019. But I say this with reverence. This is a clash of styles. Gregor Gillespie, power wrestler. You know exactly what you're going to get every time out. When he fought Jordan Rinaldi, the story was Rinaldi's a great grappler. Gillespie's a great wrestler. Rinaldi could have some success in that one.
It wasn't, though.
He had no success in that one. It was all Gillespie. And in most of Gregor Gillespie's fights, it's all one-way traffic. He trains with Andre Harrison. If you know anything about Harrison, he was undefeated for the longest time with World Series. Not so with the PFL. But they've been longtime training partners out of Belmore Kickboxing Academy. Gregor's still there. Andre's still there. Gillespie is one of the better wrestlers that we see in MMA these days. You just rarely hear about him. You hear me gripe about the fact that he's in the UFC's top 15, and I still think that it's silly, but he's very good at what he does. He's taking on Brad Riddell. And Matt, if Brad Riddell had a song to kind of call his own, if he had a little bit of a calling card, it's one by Timmy Trumpet in a collab with Savage from New Zealand. Oh, the mighty trumpet brings the freaks out to the floor. And for Brad Riddell, former striking coach with Tiger Muay Thai, this guy's stand-up is insane. And he's the type of guy that even if he gets taken down, like by my guy Magomed Mustafayev, he just pops right back up and he continues to strike. His gas tank's insane for a guy that's fought at welterweight in the past, like his fight against Sung Kanon where he finished him. Great body shot in the follow-up. Brad Riddell, very fun style. If you want a song for Gregor Gillespie, I'll go one further. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. We're talking Carry On. Go your way, I'll go mine, and carry on. And the guy just carries on with his wrestling. So you got Timmy Trumpet on one side with Savage. You got Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, because we got to go the Canadian angle. Neil Young in there. Gillespie the wrestler, Brad Riddell, the pure striker, who just pops right back up to his feet. This should be an interesting fight.
There's a lot to decipher from what you just said. There's no proof that Gregor Gillespie even knows what coronavirus is. The last time we saw him was the end of 2019, and we haven't even heard about him since then. It's not like he's been one of these fighters who, there was rumored to be about in the summer, or he had something else planned. He's just been gone, and that's the craziest thing about Gregor Gillespie, because if you could remember his rise up through the ranks, he was a guy, they put him on a poster right before that Kevin Lee fight. You gotta remember, he wasn't co-main event spots before, he wasn't the most marketed guy by the UFC, but he was more than just your regular unranked lightweight. He was a guy on his way up, had a very dominant style, and a lot of people thought Gregor Gillespie might have the style to beat Khabib because of his wrestling. Now, that was a bit of a stretch. I think we all realize. Kind of a ridiculous thing to say. Khabib would win every single round, probably by 10-7. Very, very confident in saying that. It's interesting, though, and I'm going to quote Teddy Atlas, because a fight is not a fight until you face adversity. Gregor Gillespie's only ever been in one fight, and it ended by one strike. That's the thing. I've never seen Gregor Gillespie face adversity and then come back. I've only ever seen him completely dominate his fights. There's never been points in his fights where it's like, oh wow, that was really close. It's either all Gregor Gillespie taking his opponent down and dominating them, kind of like what we talked about with Grant Dawson in an earlier video. They do fight in a very similar style. The difference is Grant Dawson is trying to put your head into the canvas with his ground and pound. Like, he has some of the better ground and pound, I'd say, in the UFC. He really makes good use of his top pressure and control. Whereas Gillespie, he's kind of finding to just, and I hate to say just lay on top of his opponent, but it really is the
Jake Shields.
He does have a bit of that Jake Shields effect. And I know you look through his record, you're like, oh, it's TKO and there's submissions. But it's a lot of, oh, my opponent's just kind of given up because they can't get up anymore. In the Yancy Medeiros fight, I know the strikes, oh, look, they're 61-1. It was basically Gregor Gillespie just out-wrestled Yancy Medeiros, and Medeiros couldn't get back up to his feet. That is what this fight's going to come down to. If Brad Riddell can stand for 15 minutes with Gregor Gillespie, he's going to send him to the Shadow Realm just like Kevin Lee did. If Gregor Gillespie can take down Brad Riddell one time in the first round, he's going to be able to do it probably twice in the second round and 3 times in the third round. We're going to know everything we need to know about this fight after 1 minute, and I truly do believe that. If Gillespie scores in this first takedown attempt, he's going to win this fight without a doubt. And I like Brad Riddell's ability to get back up to his feet, but when you do look at guys like Yancy Medeiros, who I would say has a more fleshed out ground game than someone like Brad Riddell, I do think he's going to struggle, and I don't think we're going to see his same ability to get back up to his feet. For Riddell, I do like his counter shots. I like his ability to throw shots up the middle. You had mentioned body shots, but his uppercuts are really good, especially against wrestlers. And what we saw in the Mustafayev fight was he was able to get back up to his feet and really make him pay for every single takedown attempt. I think if he can damage Gregor Gillespie early, maybe get rid of some of that confidence Gillespie has coming into this fight, he might be able to take over as the fight progresses. But I do see this being another wrestling clinic for Gregor Gillespie.
The last time Gregor Gillespie won a fight was in January of 2019, and he's still a ranked fighter in the UFC. That's absolutely insane. Tell your local rankings panelists that one. He's 34 years old in 2 days when he steps into that cage. So, if we can get a small golf clap, please. Happy birthday, Gregor. Happy birthday. For Brad Riddell coming in here at 29, like I said, the experience, Fiziev took over for him as striking coach, but a guy at a City Kickboxing. And listen, is he going to follow the likes of Carlos Ulberg and Israel Adesanya this weekend? Or is he going to be the Kai Kara France out of the group? Listen, Matt, the guy most likely to lose last weekend, I probably would have said Kai Kara France, but
he looked great.
Listen, he looked amazing. Good for him. A couple weeks ago now, I should say. For Gregor Gillespie, yeah, the layoff, it's worrisome. The fact that we haven't really heard about him. Kind of worrisome when you're 34 years old, coming into a big fight like this in a co-main event slot against Brad Riddell. Now I'm starting to have some Mike Goldberg issues.
What's the over-under on fish caught since the last time we saw Gillespie?
In the thousands.
Wow.
But catch and release. You got to put them back. You got to treat the fish just right. Now, for Gregor Gillespie, again, the performance bonus came in a big opportunity. That was UFC Fight Night Utica. There was all of 50 people in the crowd. It was like watching a small house show for pro wrestling. But he had a big win over Vince Pichel, where he took him down 7 times and he submitted him. When he fought Yancy Medeiros, took him down 6 times. The most disgusting stat line I've seen in recent memory, Gregor Gillespie per 15 minutes averages 7.02 takedowns per fight. That is absolutely insane. And for Brad Riddell, his takedown defense, 60%, but he pops back up. Mustafayev took him down 8 times. He took Mustafayev down once. Jamie Mullarkey took him down 3 times. He beat him pillar to post. Alex De Silva, Lecco, took him down 3 times. He took down Lecco once. So it's not all bad. Brad Riddell is always going to get that Fiziev comp. I think Fiziev probably has a bit of a higher ceiling. We love that Jacasey fight, right?
Be cool if those guys fighting. If we get a Riddell Fiziev fight, that would do everything for me.
Give it to me, please. Put it in an IV. I need it in my blood. But for this one, Riddell Gillespie, it is a tricky one because it's such a clash of styles. So let's look at the Tapology votes, Matt. See what the fans are thinking. 842 of them. 76% Gillespie, 64% by decision, 21% by submission. If we have a look at the odds here, are they close? What are we thinking? Well, they're not as close as you might think. Gregor Gillespie open to minus 150 favorite. He's now minus 239 average on best fight odds. For Brad Riddell, open to plus 130, now to plus 190. All the fans are on Gillespie. All the money's on Gillespie. Brad Riddell hits hard, just like Savage beats with Timmy Trumpet. So what are you thinking here?
I want Brad Riddell to win this fight, and I normally don't say that, but here's the thing. I'd much rather see Brad Riddell against other guys in the top 15 of lightweight. I just would. I think there's more exciting fights in the future for Brad Riddell if he is able to win this fight. With that being said, this is one of the worst stylistic matchups for him in the UFC, and honestly, I don't know why they would have given him Gregor Gillespie, looking at where City Kickboxing is right now, because you look, I know the UFC didn't plan for them to lose 2 of their last 3 fights, I guess, but it's one of the more popular gyms, and just being associated with that gym does give you somewhat of a star pull, if you will. And Gregor Gillespie is going to completely ruin all the hype that Brad Riddell had. He's not only going to beat you, he's going to beat you in the most boring way possible, in a way that's going to leave a very sour taste in a lot of people's mouth afterwards. That's really going to discredit Brad Riddell in the future, I think. So I'm going to pick Gregor Gillespie. Honestly, he'll probably win by submission. I like him that much in this fight, but Brad Riddell does have the tools to at least make Gregor Gillespie pay for some of his takedown entries. I just don't think he'll be able to stop him, and that's what you need to beat Gillespie.
Matt's going with a new day, a new way, and new eyes to see the dawn.
It's not him.
you're going with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young here with Gregor Gillespie. I'm having a hard time with this one because, again, you look at Gillespie's last fight where he saw so much adversity from Kevin Lee, who was able to defend the takedown. You knew how good of a wrestler Lee was, and then he just goes full sicko mode, knocks him out in one of the most insane posters that we've seen in a long time, only for Kevin Lee to lose to Charlie Olives, ruin both of his knees, and get a weird head tattoo. In this one, Brad Riddell obviously has a shot. I can't wait to see what the commenters are thinking about this one. I like the consistency out of Gillespie, though, and I will side with him in this fight because, again, one takedown to zap everything out of Riddell, and if he can hold him down, you're going to learn a lot out of that first takedown attempt. If Riddell can keep it on the feet, Riddell's got a great shot. But I will side with the wrestler and one of the best fishermen in the game. Matt, we're reeling in deals. We're going with Gregor Gillespie. But hey, head on over to FightNamePicks.com. Use the promo code FNP25. You're going to save 25% off your order on the merch. Just reel in the deals. Looking forward to this card and our main event. Derek Brunson taking on Kevin Holland. It's an awesome matchup. I can't wait to talk about it. So make sure you check that out. Keep it locked in with Fight Name Picks, Matt, as we always say.
Let's get into it.